Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are into the best of fives here at the WCS Winter Circuit Championship Qualifiers. But we are effectively playing a best of three here because we're hopping in mid-series in game number 3 with the scores tied up 1-1, spawning to the top position of Orbital Shipyard. Ladies and gentlemen, the Red Terran is happy. And his opponent spawning in the bottom position as the blue Zerg player, we have SortOf. So we are currently hopping mid-series because we have just finished covering the lower bracket games, and now we are into the best of 5 qualifier matches. The winner of this best of 5 will get the opportunity to head to the Intel Extreme Masters as part of the WCS Winter Circuit Championship. Looks like the scouting drone is being ever so slightly annoying for SortOf, but unfortunately he's losing hit points very slightly faster than that SCV, and as a result it is going to... Ooh, is he going to stop building that barracks to kill it off? No, but he was thinking about it. Alright, so that drone playing a very, very dangerous game here, but it doesn't look like he'll be able to get much else done. So just the first barracks completing so far. We do have 50 gas for happy, which means a Reaper is going to be able to pop out. Are we seeing an SCV put down a supply depot? No, it looks like we're just going to have a bit of morsel combat. And this drone is currently at 4 hit points. Ooh, lots of driving and juking here, and unfortunately the extractor is going to go down, so SortOf will be stealing that gas. Happy will not be able to put down a second gas, but that's fine, but he's gone along here and made a command center on the low ground. So absolutely no worries from our Terran player, although he did try his very best, it has to be said, to kill off that drone. And now this Reaper is going to be popping by towards the Zerg base. En route, he will encounter that Overlord, so SortOf knows exactly what to expect. I think this one Reaper is basically just going to be for scouting purposes. He's not really going to try and get any worker kills. I mean, if he can, he obviously won't say no, but it's not expected in this situation. Just the one Harvester now back on gas. And this Reaper being slightly annoying to the Zerglings, but nothing out of the ordinary so far. Nothing dead just yet for the Zerg player. We have that grenade not doing anything, just trying to get a couple of drones to whee up in the air, and here we go. Boing. Lots and lots of fun, but the Queen is now out, and unfortunately no workers will be killed this day. 0 versus 0 as the Queen goes for a bit of a joyride there, and Happy will have to pop back in and scout another time. Meanwhile, back at home, this extractor is being kaputted very, very slowly by a single Marine. And we have got double Hellion production and a starport on the way for Happy. The Reaper just chilling out by the ramp to see if any drones want to be popping by for a third base. It doesn't look like it at the moment. And this Queen is going to have to cover all of that distance prior to any hatchery going down. It looks like together with a couple of Zerglings, they might be able to make that happen. So the Reaper is going to have to hold his ground and kill off the drone. Is he going to be able to do that? Not quite. Trying to drop that concussive grenade to push the drone back, but not able to do it in time. And as a result, this third base is in fact going to go down. However, with 2 Hellions as well, I actually wonder... Oh, dear me. A little bit of a lapse of micro there. Maybe just thinking, oh, the Hellions are here, it'll be fine. I should be able to survive everything with the Reaper. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case there. And the Reaper goes down. The 2 Hellions will stay up for Happy here. And no react on the starport just yet. Only the 1 unit being created and a third CC being made right underneath the nose of this Overlord here. So 4 Hellions now harassing the third base. 2 Queens should be able to force them away. And we have these Zerglings patiently waiting in the wings for an opportunity to get some damage done. Very tricky situation. If the creep tumor pops onto the low ground, ideally the Hellions would pick it off quite quickly. And we do now have a siege tank being produced from this factory, which now has a tech lab associated with it. These Zerglings and Queens still patiently waiting. The third base is down, but on about 50% hit points at the moment, and not looking the most healthy in the world. Hellions thinking about whether or not they want to pop up, have decided against it, just continuing to put more pressure on that base. In the meantime, we have a drop coming in, but it doesn't do any damage at all. We successfully managed to ward it off. It looks like a Spore Crawler will get produced. Well, in the very corner, I'd probably prefer it in one of these locations here, as the Hellions continue to do more damage. Massive round of 10 drones popping by now, and the Hellions do a quick poke up the ramp. We'll spot Roaches and Ravagers at this point, and that should signal the end of this particular attack. The medevac once again unable to make any dividends, but all is well back home. We have double engineering bay for those upgrades coming in. Still just the one medevac slash liberator at a time coming out from Happy, so not looking for some sort of crazy push here. And SortOf keeping his Overlord just within vision of that orbital command to know the exact timing of when it's going to be popping down at the third base. This medevac now with 4 Hellions inside it. Good dodging from that Liberator as he tries to pick off an Overlord. Might be able to succeed here, but I think a Queen is going to try and put an end to those kind of thoughts. Liberator now, needs to be careful. He's zoning up and he's getting ready to kick that Queen into next week. A couple of Lings popping into the zone as well. The Liberator is thinking about going for a follow-up push, but it's getting very, very low. It has to target the correct Queen. It doesn't target the correct Queen, and unfortunately, the Liberator goes down with no Queens killed by it so far. This medevac is so close to dying as well, needs to be very careful. And unfortunately, just not a lot of damage done by Happy this game, but really, really good and really industrious of him to continuously try as well as keep SortOf on his toes this entire time. Now, this Overlord does look like it's going down, and the Ravagers won't be able to stop that. +1 stim. All of the good upgrades now being researched. It's the 7-minute mark now, and Happy is looking fairly comfortable. He's been the one exerting pressure on SortOf, but SortOf has also done a good job of soaking it up. He's just comfortably prevented any dodgy stuff from happening to him early on in the game. 5 workers killed is not a disaster. Scanning ahead because this medevac is so low on hit points. Unfortunately, though, the Zerglings are going to instantly kill off one of those Hellions, and sadly, no more damage will get done as far as Happy is concerned. SortOf has actually been completely all over the harassment damage this game from our Terran player. Really, really impressed with the way he's playing. Very, very solid. And off the back of this now, he's got his infestation pit. He's grabbing his pathogen glands. We can see an additional hatchery coming up from him as well. He's playing this nice and chill. And still waiting for an opportunity to do damage with that medevac. That medevac has been on 8 hit points for quite a while now. He's being very, very ballsy with it. And there are 30 Zerglings coming out from SortOf. I think SortOf has finally decided, you know what, mate? I'm going to go ahead and do a bit of counterattacking. Unfortunately, any counterattack that comes in now will arrive after +1/+1 is done. Will arrive after Stim is done. And there will be siege tanks and medevacs here. So I wonder just how effective this can be. We have some Roaches and Ravagers. Here come the Zerglings now, but they're going to be marching themselves into a pretty precarious situation here, it has to be said. And a medevac that definitely has more than 8 hit points, trying to get some damage done against the 4th base, but once again, not able to do so on this occasion. These Zerglings are not moving out any further for now.
Mineral field depleted.
Happy not seeing them. There are a couple of Hellbats with this composition as well, and here comes the counterattack from SortOf. Depot gets raised, but look at how many workers potentially go down here, drilling into the rest of the army, which is going to come back home to help. That command center gets taken down. It was successfully cancelled, though, so Happy is just going to regain control of that very quickly indeed, and all but 3 of those Zerglings actually go down there. So number of workers killed so far, 7-3 in favor of Happy. Not the greatest trade for those legs. But it wasn't specifically about the trade there. It really is about how much he delays this attack from Happy. So those Lings now will be able to get pushed back by the bio. Some excellent fungal growth Ravager combos there. Picking off a bunch of that bio. But unfortunately, these siege tanks are just able to do a lot of damage. Now, if SortOf is able to get some pretty sick connects with these fungals, that could change everything and absolutely repel this in a heartbeat. It's 175, 141 supply, and here we go. SortOf moving in, Good fungal growths, actually. Ravager shots against those fungal units, trying to pick off the siege tanks, but they're doing an awful lot of damage in the back in the meantime. These medevacs could be picking stuff up. Successfully micros 1 siege tank, 2 siege tanks, and this will get picked off. It looks like, oh, so close to losing that medevac and tank there, but will successfully stop that from happening. And this medevac is playing cat and mouse at the moment with this army. It's basically a fungal growth away from lol, you lose this game. But unfortunately, SortOf wasn't able to pick that off. He's done a really good job, actually, of defending so far, and he took that engagement brilliantly. He lost a good number of units, but at the same time, he manages to preserve his 4th base. He's on 72 drones right now and feeling very safe economically. These 2 Zerglings will spot that this command center has gone down. He's nibbling away at them just to let his opponent know, actually, mate, I now know this is a target. His creep spread has been fantastic as well. Scanning to see if there are any sort of sneaky units moving out here. It doesn't look like there are, but there is going to be creep, and this is just such a good amount of creep from SortOf to enable him to attack the Terran player while having vision for more than half of the map. If you just take a look at the purple on your screen now, it's fantastic. Happy, though, he's not really content giving SortOf enough time and enough tempo to attack the left-hand side. So he's going to try and attack down the right, but he might be a little bit slow here because the number of Zerglings here is quite large, but then again, that is a planetary fortress, so perhaps that is just fine. These Zerglings potentially can operate to kill off reinforcements if this army is able to defend against this bio. That is a huge stim to kill off that Ultralisk. And we have now, on the bottom right, a base that will almost certainly get cancelled from SortOf. There's not a lot he can do here. These Zerglings, instead of coming back, have actually done a great job of stopping this base from mining. That orbital is forced to get lifted. The Ghost Academy actually gets completely taken apart. And these Ravagers and Infestors will be left to defend here. Are we going to get a fungal growth, or are we going to be waiting for more Ultras to pop out? This is a very dangerous position for SortOf to be in. These Zerglings are still doing a good amount of damage, but they will get cleaned up by this remaining bio. And now this is the place where all the action is happening. It looks like we are down to 3 bases for our Zerg player, so SortOf has to make something happen now. Happy, at the moment, is mining from this base and is about to start mining from that base, which is really the reason why he is ahead economically in this game. 49 workers versus 59. Here comes the rush in. Ultralisk from 2 different directions. Fantastic fungal growths on basically everything. And a lot of Ravager shots will successfully push this back. 139 to 106 supply. But I feel like SortOf, because he's only just now retaking this 4th base, I feel like he has to do some counterattacking damage because this base cannot be allowed to stand. And if that base starts standing, we could end up being in a lot of trouble here. So this base has successfully been targeted, but Happy's income is comfortably ahead of SortOf's right now. Oh, actually, they're near identical, which is odd. But this is going to start mining out soon. This only has a couple of mineral patches left. This only has a couple of mineral patches left. It's very, very dangerous, which is why these Ultras have to succeed. And here we go. They're chomping down that planetary fortress so quickly. The SCVs come in to repair, but ever so slightly late. And the Ultras will be able to get the job done. Very nicely done from SortOf there. Unfortunate on the timing from Happy, because if he reacted maybe 2 seconds earlier, he would be able to prolong the life of that PF a lot. He only had about 4 SCVs repairing, I think, when it ended up going down. So just a little bit slower than ideal. So right now, I guess this base is mining and is actually a planetary fortress. So maybe SortOf can target that next. He hasn't seen it yet, but definitely sees it now. Wow, one-shotting and absolutely destroying those Zerglings there. And we have another round of Zerglings over here on the left-hand side, but you're not really going to want to be dealing with the planetary fortress with those, to be honest. SortOf has kept his army very distinctly in 2 for almost the entirety of this game. Ooh, Nidus Network, looking forward to that. And the Zerglings, the attacking force that have been basically picking off a couple of command centers here and there, have been very distinctly different from the rest of the army that have been defending against these attacks. We have Liberators getting picked off now. Siege Tank defending this orbital command, also getting taken down. 2 more Liberators will be able to hold the fort from Happy. But here come the Ultra Hit Squad, and once again, no repair from Happy means that SortOf is doing a fantastic job in killing this off. Now, you might be wondering, hang on a second, these SCVs are easy targets, why didn't the Ultras go after them? And that's because he doesn't want a Bioforce that's stimming in to pick off the Ultras if he can help it. He wants to keep these back, and he wants to make sure he preserves their lives because they're so important to his army right now. He's not maxed out yet. It's 168 supply versus 135, but now SortOf has kept Happy on 3 bases, and with mules as well, you can see so few of these minerals actually remain right now that it's a massive, massive problem for our Terran player. So a very low eco game. Both players doing their best to kill off everything the other has to offer economically. Number of workers killed now 24 to 26 this game. And, well, it is still anybody's game. I mean, both players, whoever manages to take a very, very good engagement can snowball and win this game right now. But I feel like SortOf's composition is stronger. Just the sheer number of Ultralisks in this army right now. I mean, there are more Ultralisks than there are Ghosts. So that's a strong starting point. We also have Infestors at basically full energy, some Banelings, Corruptors for Medivacs, which is always good to sustain inside a battle, because if over time you're just losing your ability to heal, that's really good for the Zerg player. And he's got his creep advanced to a fantastic position. You can see he's now going into the middle of the map trying to take this gold base as well. And these Vanguard bio units are not going to be happy to see the army here. I think SortOf is making his presence now. He's about to max out. He's got 3-3 on those Ultralisks, and he's patiently sitting out and waiting to see where the Terran player is. This Overlord is going to be playing a pivotal role in scouting, and we'll be able to spot that Happy is effectively setting up his Fort Knox in this position. Unfortunately, that's the only position Happy's got right now. I feel like SortOf is now starting to put the pressure on. Happy has spotted the creep tumor here, and will kill off that Overlord as well. But there isn't a huge position he can kind of deal with. I love that this Overlord is spewing creep, preventing this base from getting taken as well. He might even be able to save the Overlord if he moves it across straight away, but who cares about that? We have a Nidus network going in, and it's popping out here on the right-hand side. That's going to be to distract him, by the way, because the Ultralists are actually here. They're not going to be going into the Nidus. Let's keep a close eye on exactly what he does here. Here come the Corruptors. Here come a couple of Zerglings into the base. The army has gone back. A lot of Ghosts are over there as well. Are we going to see an attack into here? 3 Ghosts. The army is basically being split quite well from Happy here. He immediately moves his army back out towards the 4th base location, and the 5th is now coming down. So SortOf actually wasn't able to get any purchase with that at all. He is, though, mining from the gold base in the meantime. We take a look at the income right now. SortOf is doing fantastically well from a mineral point of view. Liberators here doing a lot of damage against Queens and Ultras out in the middle of the map. We now have Happy starting to push on to creep. We're at the 18-minute mark of this game, and this is turning into a slugfest. A Liberator getting picked off by those Ravagers there. SortOf patiently waiting. He's got a lot of Banelings with this composition. He basically wants to roll in, and he needs to win with 1 engagement almost. Here come the Banelings moving straight through the Liberators. They're not really caring. The Bio's going to have to split to deal with these Banelings. A lot of Liberators being deployed. Are they in time to save the Bio, though? Those Snipes doing a fantastic job with those Infestors, interrupting the Snipes as well. And that Bio gets absolutely eliminated. SortOf now at 183 supply versus 88. And this is not a planetary fortress. And we have a puking coming out from the Corruptors here to first slowly, then quickly take down this orbital command. Look at how many hit points that gets taken down. It's disgusting. GG comes out from Happy, and SortOf moves 2-1 up in this best of 5 series. So he is now 1 game away from qualifying for the WCS Winter Championship at the Intel Extreme Masters.